Don't blink. It's your boy Ink. Welcome to part one of a part two series on two movies that completely changed my life. Right? When I'm talking about you're on the playlist of creating Ink Vendetta. When I'm talking about creating Ink Vendetta, those two movies completely changed me. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do two videos, right? Where they're gonna be the same intro. Now, the same intro is a prologue to said movie. So I was 22, everything's gonna be alright. But I was so depressed. My best friend committed suicide. My. I don't know if I should say this word because I'm gonna get demonetized. And I don't know if they're gonna delete that video. Fuck. Well, my best friend committed, he unalive himself. And my girlfriend at the time, there's a lot of girlfriend that I had that I knew were good girlfriend but wouldn't last. That was the first girl where I said, this is for life. This is for life, yo, for life. And she broke up because I wasn't the same person. I was depressed. And I wasn't putting her in a good place because I was taking out my anger on her. Not physically, but emotionally. I was a dick. And I regret that. So what I did was I was in between work and I went to a store where there was Wi-Fi, and I remember the phone I have, which was an Xperia 52 gigs with a SIM card of 128, and I would download movies. Now, one of those movies is the one we're going to talk about today. The second movie we're going to talk about today was also one of those movies. To be quite honest, at first it was game movie. At second, it was some shows, but then it became movies. And one of those movies was Dante's Inferno. Now, you may understand, if you're familiar with the channel, you may you may know that I'm obsessed with the idea of good versus evil. I'm obsessed with knowing what is good, what is not good, or if I'm doing something, is it purposeful? Is it righteous? Is it something I should be doing or something I shouldn't be doing? And this is where the first movie come into play. Now, the very concept of good versus evil was something present with me. But the reality of it was I was a single guy. I lived alone. I'm very keeping to myself. I like to talk a lot. I like to share a lot. But when I'm pushing to a social concept, so for example, work, I'm pushing to a social concept, I'll share. But I'm not gonna go out with friends. For example, I have this one friend which birthday is tomorrow. Happy birthday, Shao, who likes to have party all the time. And when it's me and him that goes to see a movie, when it's me and him that goes to the restaurant, it's okay. But then we have a party where we're 10 and I don't know half of these people. And although it's nice to meet new people, I'm not necessarily looking to meet new people as I might go out. And that's the truth. That's the sad truth. So I was speaking to myself. So even though the concept of good versus evil existed, it didn't apply. And that's a very, very important detail in this video. The difference between exist and applied. Something can exist. Truth is, I know fucking gravity exists, right? I know there's a law of equivalent exchange that exists, but in this very principle, in this very concept, in this very moment, in this very subspace of time, place, and I don't know. It doesn't matter. I'm not gonna have to give you an equivalent exchange, right? This is a video. If you don't want to watch it, click off. If you want to watch it, continue watching it. Ultimately, it's your choice. There's no equivalent exchange, right? Of course, I'm getting paid for it, but at the end of the day, I got 221 followers, and I don't go sitting to my head, and I don't know. I got guns in my hand, and I don't show. Why am I singing this song? I don't even know. But yeah, I'm not even gonna get paid for this video, right? Maybe one day, but not 2 days. So this is the equivalent exchange. Now, a movie that really changed. I keep on hinting the movie, and oh, bro, this movie changed my life. But I never said the title of the movie. The title of the movie is Dante's Inferno. Now, hear me out. There's a reason why it's Dante Inferno. I've mentioned before, I'm talking here on this channel not about the principle of predestination. Everything that's supposed to happen happens for a reason. Everything that is supposed to exist exists. The fact that I can take this straw, right, stick it in my eyes, lose an eyes. Well, it's my choice, but ultimately, somehow, somewhere in a holy book, it was written that I would do it because so was it predestined. I had a teacher in high school wanting me to read Dante's Inferno. Now, to be quite fair, little ink history right here, little inky lore for you guys right now. I used to love reading Harry Potter, Amos Dragon, une série québécoise que j'adore, que j'ai les livres ici, que j'aime fucking beaucoup. Um, I read over and over the books of World of Warcraft. I've read so many books. It's not even funny. Now, I might not look like a freaking reader, but I was. I've read a total of 10 pages. I swear to God. On Dante's Inferno. And I was bored to tears. Now, the reason I was bored to tears was because this book was written in the 1800s. Yes, you heard me right, 1800. And back then, the only book she would write would be poems that she would sing. Now, if you look at Dante's Inferno, it is a poem, right? It's a series of poems that are put together to form a story. Yes, yes, my friend, it's a story. But it's also a poem. And I was bored to tears. Now, as a gamer, it was another story. Dante's Inferno came out for PSP, but I never owned the copy of said game. No, I know what you're saying. Oh, Inky, there's something called emulator. Hello. Well, that's true. A lot of the emulator for PSP would work. Talking third anniversary, Persona 3, Persona 1 and 2, and a cut this. Final Fantasy 4, Advanced Historia would work, but not Dante's Inferno. And it was a shame because I've watched Dante's Inferno on YouTube to play the cutscene, and I loved it. I've watched, and you know why I loved it? Because it was similar to God of War, which was one of my favorite series on that time. It's still one of my favorite series, but you cannot compare God of War from the Greek mythology to the Norse mythology because it's two different games. And if you do compare those two for something else that Kratos is the main character, you're wrong. I apologize, you're wrong. The Kratos from Greek mythology is a dude wanting revenge that has been wrong and is able to take his revenge. There's no righteousness, there's no justice. He's just an asshole. Now, the Kratos for the Norse mythology is a dude that is a father, understand his mistake, and is trying to improve his life, or at least live the most peaceful life possible. Still a God of War, but somehow peaceful. Now, where does this becomes interesting is Dante's Inferno was a game I wanted to play that I couldn't play. So when I saw the movie on YouTube, I was conflicted. It's a free movie that I can watch, right? It's a free movie that's available. But here I am with a book I fucking hated and a game I loved. Now, I decided to watch it. And when I say I decided to watch it, I watched it for the first time. Then the second time. Upward to 20 times. Now, why have I watched this movie so much? Again, the principle, the concept we're talking in the beginning of the video still applies. Good versus evil. So, before I even go into the description of why Dante's Inferno changed my life completely, I have to tell you the story. Dante is a Templar. So we're going back, way back in the Christian Crusade. So, the Christian Crusade were an army of people called the Templars. The Templars saw other religion as heretic. We're talking Muslim, we're talking Jewish people, we're talking about Buddhism, we're talking about Hinduism, right? Old religion. They would create wars, right? And the reason for that was for three fucking reasons. And it's horrible, but it's story. Right? Do I agree with this shit? No. But when I tell you why this movie changed my life, you'll understand why I feel the need. I feel the need to tell you about those three reasons. The first reason was for cash. This army needed funding. That church needed funding. You don't want to know where there's resources, there's a ton of cash. Want to know where? In other churches. But if a Christian church attack a Christian church, it doesn't make a lot of sense, does it? It doesn't. The second reason, the Christian, I am saying Christian, but it might be Catholics, I'm not 100% sure, but those crusaders wanted to prove that, hey, the righteous religion was theirs. The righteous book was the Bible. Fighting the heretics meant one thing: we're right, you're wrong. It doesn't matter how right you think you are. We'll slaughter, we'll do genocide on those people, right? And by being the only religion that existed, right? Who could say the Bible wasn't right? Right? That's the second and third reason: to establish itself as the one reigning religion by both power and knowledge. Because if they destroy the church, they destroy the books inside the church. And if there's no record of a religion, this religion ceases to exist. Because for something to exist, it has to be something we can research. So, what I mean by this, right? This straw, the reason it exists was because it was created. This fork, the reason it exists was because it was created. This pencil, we're going somewhere, don't worry, we're going somewhere, exists because it was created, right? This piece of paper, no, you know what? This piece of paper exists why? If you said because it was created, you're right. If you said something else, like, I don't know, you wrote something on it, you're also right. Now, the reason I'm telling you this is very simple. For me to write this, two things needed to exist: paper and pen. Is that true? That's false. Three things. Paper and pen are not enough. Here is what I need to exist. Now, if there's no paper and there's no pen, right? It's okay. I'll have some more. But if there's no here, everything that is in here that I wrote on this paper, if this doesn't exist, this writing doesn't exist. Now, you can tell me, and you'll be right. You'll be absolutely right. Oh, Inky, somebody can say or write the exact same thing you did, and that's a fact. But I'm telling you, we're 7 billion people, and I can promise you this, I can guarantee it. The chances, right? The percentage of chances where somebody and myself write the same thing at the exact same time is next to none. You might write something yesterday that I write today. You might write something tomorrow that I write today. But you didn't write it today. Now, why does that matter? Well, those crusades believed that if there was no record of knowledge, knowledge would cease to exist. We saw that in the Second World War. We saw that with right now, and with Putin, right? Not this Putin, the Vladimir one. He's burning books, and the reason for that is because when there's no proof of knowledge, it doesn't exist. You're seeing this in North Korea, where they're brainwashing people into telling them 1 plus 1 equals 1, because the president discovered that if you add a drop of water into a drop of water, it creates one bigger drop of water, but it's still one. Now, you might think you're going way off track with your ADHD, and you'll be right. But we're going somewhere. That war was, for a lot of people, justified. One of those persons was Dante, right? And all of that 13 minutes of me talking was only to show you how disgusting and how serious this war was. Now, Dante, that's the hard thing with Dante. We're going to come into it after, but Dante is a flawed character, but not so flawed. Dante was a Templar, and Dante was really strong. Dante went to war and came back alive. Now, why does it matter? Well, it does matter. There's a demon that comes in to pick up Dante's wife. And now you say, well, you're talking about demons? Wait a sec. Did you talk about something that really happened, like the crusade? Yeah, I did. The demon here, for a lot of people, is Dante's perception, Dante's guilt. Why is he guilty? Why is he feeling guilt? We're coming there. So Dante, as a Templar, as the warrior of God, of Christ, thinks, I don't care about hell, I'll go pick her back up. So goes to hell, right? Don't ask me how he went there. It doesn't matter, but he went to hell. He's like, yo, give me my girl back. I want my girl back. here was becoming interesting. You got Virgil. Now, shout out to all my people out there that say, wait, Dante and Virgil, you're talking about Devil May Cry. No, but Devil May Cry was heavily influenced by Dante's Inferno. Now, if I knew that, would I have given Dante's Inferno another chance? Possibly. But I didn't. Now, Virgil is kind of the guide. And Virgil is this phenomenal character. To me, Virgil is the MVP of this, because Virgil is not only a guide, he knows the truth. And the truth is the one I'm about to tell you. Now, Dante, he visited the 9th level of hell, right? He's a warrior, so all he has to do is fight. Fight until you go deeper. But at every level, we're discovering the truth behind Dante. Now, Dante, who was, since the beginning of the tale, this righteous soldier fighting for Christ, who has done nothing wrong, very flawed. Dante raped people. He stole. He killed innocent people. And all of that happened because before that, he was told that everything you do will be forgiven because you're doing it for Christ. You're doing it for God. Now, as we go along in the hell, we're seeing Virgil tell Dante, hey, this was not okay. And Dante keeps saying, well, I did it for God, so it was okay. But then we're seeing a shift in Dante's perception. And that's where the movie gets interesting. Dante, who believed himself to be righteous, understand that he wasn't. It doesn't matter how often Virgil tells him, hey, bro, you're wrong. Dante's starting to understand. Because he remembered that those acts were disgusting. He remembered that doing those were not okay. Protected by the church or not, they were not okay. Now, what's amazing is we're fast forwarding, right? And Dante understands that he deserves to be in hell. And as a viewer, as a consumer of content, we understand that he deserves to be in hell. Until he reaches the girl. And when he reaches her, she becomes a demon. And she said, you curse me, you curse me. Now, why this movie and this story is phenomenal is because of what's happening next. Dante is apologizing. And he says this one line that changes the whole movie. You don't belong here, I do. Dante's Inferno, majestic. The reason Dante's Inferno changed my life. Ladies and gentlemen, 18 minutes in and we're finally answering this question. It's because this guy who thought he was righteous, Inky who thought he was righteous, was proven wrong. Because of a different perception. Now Inky living alone only had his own perception and was certain that what he was doing, I was acting, was justified because as long as I'm benefiting it, right? I live for myself. I don't have friends. I have a family that I barely talk to. I talk to them now, but I didn't back then. Back then I didn't talk to my family. I didn't talk to my father, my mother, right? I only live with myself. Well, I had movies. I had games. Oh, the GBA emulator. Fantastic. I would listen to radio. Social interaction with the radio. Understanding what's going on in the world through news. Thought I had it all. But I was in denial. Just like Dante. And it took outside perception to tell me maybe what you think is right is wrong. Now, ultimately, I never raped. I stole but from store. I never killed anybody. But it doesn't help telling you this because I did do some action that were not okay. I did do some things that were not cool. I lied to people just to get into their pants. I lied to people just to get an advantage. I manipulated people, and I can admit that. I manipulated people just to get what I wanted. And I thought it was righteous because those people I didn't care about. Just like Dante. He cared about the Bible. He cared about God. He cared about what he was doing was righteous. He was certain that somehow, somewhere, his action was justified. And then he went to hell and noticed that it wasn't justified. And it doesn't matter. And that's the important part. It didn't matter to Dante. Is what I'm doing justified or not? What matter is if it is or not. Is there's a truth to it, right? If I take a fork, right? No. If I take a knife. Now, I know there's chocolate. Don't come at me. I was eating cake before. If I take a knife, right, and I stab myself. That's stupid, right? Do I deserve to go to prison? Do I deserve to go to hell? No. If I take this knife and I stab somebody, That my actions are affecting another life. My lies are affecting another lives. My manipulation are affecting another lives. My selfishness affected other people's life. And this is what Dante's Inferno teaches us. It might seem righteous. It might seem like a good thing to do, but it's not always. And because it's not always, and you can be proven wrong, then you shouldn't be allowed to do it. And if you have a problem with that, you have a problem with the very concept of good versus evil. Now this is the lesson we're told to be taught. This is the lesson that Dante's Inferno is teaching us. Dante, why such a beautiful movie? And I feel like I'm going to repeat myself, but it needs to be said twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. Dante is presented to us as this role model, as this guy who couldn't do no wrong, yet hurt the people he cared about the most. The final scene where he tells his wife, "You don't belong here, I do." It seemed as, no. I don't want you to be here. I'm willing to sacrifice myself for you. Now, common perception, common belief is that Virgil never existed. Facts. The common belief is that Dante's wife actually died during the war. Common belief that the whole of Dante's Inferno is guilt, getting Dante to commit self-sacrifice, the ultimate one, willing to die and pay for his sin, knowing that he lived the lie. And that's the most beautiful thing. Being a Templar who thinks that what he's doing is justice, to understanding that he needs to pay. He needs to answer to justice. That's the story, ladies and gents. This is why this movie changed my life. Not because of the self-sacrifice, not because of Dante understanding of what he did was wrong. It changed my life because I understood that what I think is right might not be. I understood that there is a common law of being right and wrong. Did I change? Automatically, no. Am I the same person today that I was before? Absolutely not. Am I still gonna lie? Absolutely. I'm still gonna make jokes. I'm still gonna make a sarcastic joke as a lie. Right? If my boss, he asked me, "Hey, were you on your phone this morning?" I'm still gonna say no. If I get caught, I'll say yes. But if I can get away with it, I'll still say no. Am I gonna manipulate somebody just to get something out of them? No, because that's wrong. You see, being told something was wrong didn't change me. Being told something I shouldn't do, I was doing, didn't change me. What changed me was understanding that I have to ask myself the question, is this something I want to do? Is it something I should do? Because ultimately, I don't take orders from nobody. You can tell me I take orders from my boss, and that's true. But right here, right now, who's giving me order? Now you could say, there's law, Ing, there's law. You can't go in the street killing people, and you're right. But ultimately, sitting in my living room, what can I do? And this, my friends, is the reason why this is an amazing movie. Because right now, yes, I'm sitting in my living room, and yes, there's nothing I can do that's wrong. But that's not true. The truth is I'm making this video, and just like Dante, what I say might seem righteous, what I say might seem like my perception of righteousness. I have to make an active effort to be perceived and to show a positive message, a message that will improve your life, my life, because I'm held responsible of my action, and my action is putting this video screaming an opinion, because someone somewhere is going to see this and is going to think that I'm right. And if the message I'm giving out is a negative message, then it's my fault, right? That's what Dante's Inferno is. Not about what's right, what's wrong. I know I said that it was, but it's about understanding it. There's a difference between what's right and what's wrong and understanding what's right and wrong. We're being taught as kids, hey, this is wrong. Don't hurt your friend. This is right. Be nice to your friend. Right? We're being taught this as a kid. Then we somehow forget it. We somehow forget it. Don't ask me why. I don't know. But we somehow do. Love you guys. Take it easy. Peace.